I have always been into physical fitness and been active. And so when I noticed recently that when I became, and I've always worked out with trainers, like in some form or the other. I've worked out, I'd say, with 2 trainers in the last 15 years or so. Um, and for the most part, I got results. And then I noticed when I turned maybe about 48 years old or so, that I was not really seeing the results anymore. I was developing a belly, and I felt like, why is this happening? I haven't changed anything I've been doing. I'm still physically active. Um, I, s- I'm eating less now. I started to eat less food. I thought, okay, I'm going to eat less food. Maybe I'm overeating. And that didn't help either. And I noticed that, oh my God, and then also, I don't know if you recall that I also had a cancer. I had cancer, breast cancer. And so now I'm on cancer medication, which my oncologist said to me, oh, this medication is likely to make you gain weight because a lot of my, right? It'll likely to, and it'll put you in menopause. That's another thing. It's going to put you in menopause. So now I'm like, okay, now I'm over 50. My belly is not going nowhere. It's not going, right? This belly isn't going nowhere. And now my oncologist is saying the medication might cause you to. And so I was at that point where I thought, okay, I'm not sure what to do at this point. I'm out of options. And so I saw your post on Instagram. And when I reached out to you, you asked me what was it about my post that made you connect with me? And it was because I felt that you could relate to what I was going through at that time. You listed exactly all the things that I was going through, like, hey, are you stuck at this point? Has your workout not changed? Has your diet, are you eating less calories and nothing's, and that's exactly what I was going through. And the other reason I connected with you is because I felt that you weren't bullshitting me. If you had said, Tandy, I'll make you lose 5 pounds in a month or 20 pounds in a month, right? Or 30 pounds in a month, which is what most of the other people online say. By the end of the year, you'll be, if you had said that, I actually wouldn't have reached out to you because I'd have thought, nah, she's bullshitting. There's no way this can happen. But what you did was say, okay, this is the science of it. This is what we should be able to do, and it should work, and for this reason, and it won't be a quick fix, and it won't be an overnight thing. And that's what I related to, and that's what I connected with, and that's why I reached out to you. So when I started the program, the first thing I noticed was instead of the scale going up, I was actually losing weight every week. And I was eating, I felt more than I had before, than I'd eaten before. My calories had increased. And I was walking, but what this program made me realize is that I was actually almost sedentary. You know what I mean? I was sedentary because I felt like, oh yeah, I do. I walk to my car every day. I'm doing something. What the program made me realize, which I'd never known before, was how important walking was, how underrated it was, and how I hadn't been doing that. That hadn't been a part of my life at all. And so I started walking, and like I said, eating more calories than I had before, strength training 3 times a week, shorter sessions, because before with a trainer, I would work out an hour at a time. And not as much cardio as I did before. Like before I was doing, I think it was when I started the program, I was probably doing cardio 3 to 4 times a week, long sessions. Now, if I do at the most maybe one cardio session a week, otherwise I'm just walking. And so to me, it was amazing that every week when I did my weigh-in, the scale kept going down. And it's like, oh my God. So it is, this program does work, and the science does back it all up. And it does make sense what we're doing and what this approach is. When I started the program, I was extremely inactive. I feel like I didn't walk a lot, but I felt like, oh my God, I'm doing some steps every day. It wasn't until I got a stepometer and I said, oh my God, I'm doing 1,000 steps a day, which is nothing. And so I felt like it'll be so hard. When can I fit it in my day? I don't have time to walk all these steps, and I'll be so tired. And so I started by walking 30 minutes on my lunch every day. And then I noticed that it wasn't that tiring and it wasn't that hard. You have 30 minutes in a day to take a walk. Everyone does. I don't believe anyone that will say we don't have the time to do that walk. You do. Everyone has 30 minutes when they're scrolling on their phones, when they could get off of the phone and take a walk. And so that's what I started by doing. I started by walking on my lunch every day, 30 minutes a day. And it came to the point where I if I didn't walk that day or if I'd missed a day, I feel as if I've missed out on something, because when I walk, it does a lot more for me. It clears my mind. It gives me time to think and reflect on, okay, what do I want to do next in life? What do I want to do? What should my goal be next week? It gives me time to myself. And I love being outside. I love having that sunshine. If you're in Los Angeles, you should take advantage of all that. Take advantage, go outside and walk. And it's time for myself. On the weekends now, I do walks with my daughter, right? I do walks with her. She loves to walk, and my husband at times. But it's gotten to the point now where I love walking so much that I will actually structure everything around it and make sure it fits in my schedule. Today, I know that it's going to rain in Los Angeles at noon. So I made sure I walked early in the morning, first thing in the morning before the rain started. So there's no reason to say, oh my God, it's raining, I can't walk. Then walk before, fit it in your schedule, make sure it happens. Um, and like I said, it's not just a matter of getting the steps in for me now. It's also a matter of giving myself that time, clearing my mind, allowing my thoughts to, my goals, setting my goals. That it does all of that for me. That's what walking does for me now. And at the point, Ashley, I remember in the beginning you said, okay, you can walk this many steps, and I said, nah. And so now I am walking, and I love the way that the program increases the steps. They don't say walk 8,000 steps. You start by walking 8,000 steps, because then I would have burnt out and I wouldn't have been able to do it. I am now walking 8,000 steps, and it's because you gradually increase it to the point now where I am walking 8,000 steps, and it doesn't feel like anything unachievable. It doesn't feel like it was incredibly difficult for me to do. So I went from that point, right, to where I thought, I can't do this. I can't walk these steps, to here where I am. I'm doing 8,000 steps now. I would say that when I've noticed that my frame is becoming smaller and smaller, which is incredible, because now when I look in the, who's that person? I'm actually becoming smaller. I love my muscles. I love that I'm developing all these muscles, which I didn't before. Although I was working out with trainers before, somehow I didn't have this muscular definition before. And I feel a big factor of that maybe my protein intake now. Before this program, I didn't know what macros was. I wasn't tracking anything. And so now it's made me realize that I was absolutely undereating protein. Absolutely. And so I feel like that's one factor too in why I'm developing bigger, more muscles, more muscle tone now. Absolutely, protein plays a big part in it. And without this program, I wouldn't have known where to begin. I love the way it tracks everything, and it shows me that, okay, this is where you're at daily. And this is something I'm working on now with my husband, where I said, okay, tell me what you ate today, right? Tell me what you ate. And I said, you're under eating your calories. You're not a 5-year-old, and you're under eating protein. You know? And so I, I, I would say that the benefits for me is tons more energy. When I go out now, when I go out with my friends and everything, everyone's like, girl, you're in your mid-50s, and I would never guess you have way more energy than us, and we're 32. You know what I mean? I'm over 20 years older than them, and I have a lot more energy than them, you know? I feel like this program definitely gives you that in tons. And then wardrobe wardrobe changes. It's like I mentioned before, one of my non-skill wins was I purchased a dress last year, and it was because one of my very close friends was getting married this year, and it didn't fit. And I said, I'm not going to buy another dress. I'm not going to buy another size. let's see where we're at next year. And if it doesn't fit, I'll buy something or get overnight delivery, whatever. Right? And so I, this year, the wedding was 2 weeks ago, and the dress fit perfectly, perfectly. It's, yes, it's just amazing, and it's that's happening with all my clothes now. Like, I'm definitely a size smaller, and I would say that I am not one of those people who has lost like 50 pounds in the last year or so, but I have lost that 10 to 15 pounds, which is what I thought I could never do. I would say that the reason that this program has been better for me than an in-person trainer is because of the support that you've given, where I feel as if you're there more than a trainer ever was. And it's helped me in all facets of my life. It's not just about losing the weight with this program. It's also about, hey, where are you spiritually now? Hey, where are you financially? Like, do you guys have financial goals? And that's why I feel to me that it's a complete, like, I have that support, and that support is in all aspects of my life, which is what, if you meet a trainer for 1 hour in a day, it's not the same thing as being with a community where Ashley will reach out and say, how's your day going? How are things going with your spouse? How are things going with your daughter? What's your food looking like? It's all one big package. And I would say it's not you losing time, it's that you will gain so much if you would give it a try, because it will complete you and it will fulfill you and it will fill that space. And the reason that I relate to this program is because I feel like you listen and you understand where we're at in life, you understand the struggles, you understand the hardships, and you can relate to us. If you were a 18-year-old, whatever, I likely wouldn't probably have connected with you, because I probably would have thought, she can't relate to what it means, like, to have to get my daughter to school, to have to, I don't think you could relate to that, to those struggles. And so I would say it's give it give it a try. It's not you losing time, it's you gaining so much more than we can put in words. I realized how much the program meant to me when I thought that I could stop. And I said, hey, Ashley, I think I'm fine. I can't do this for whatever the reason I explained, that I couldn't continue at that point. And then when I lost that connection to all the resources, I realized how much it had meant to me and how much it had. I do not have the time really to log online and give a comment every day, but I do have access now to all the group coaching calls, which are so important to me, because I listen to them to get inspiration. Before I go on a walk, I'll be like, I'm feeling a bit tired right now. Maybe I shouldn't go on a walk. I'll put my earpods on. I'll put on your group coaching call. And before I know it, 45 minutes has passed, and I get all this information and knowledge and inspiration. And I have access to that because I have access to all the calls. And then we have the podcasts, which are also so valuable to me, because the reason I like the podcast is because I feel they're too short, by the way. I feel, but they're concise, they're informative, and they're inspiring. And you make the material easy for us laymen to understand. It's not too technical. And that's why I can relate to it and say, oh, this is why protein is important. And oh, this is why I shouldn't undereat. All that is important. And so even though I'm not there in person, where it's a virtual community, with access to all these resources, to the community, to the group, I don't feel as if we're remote. I feel as if we're connected the whole time. I feel as if it was life-changing for me. When I reached out to you, I felt as if since that point, it has been life-changing for me. It has, like I was saying, it has impacted not just the physical part of my world, but also the financial part now. I think of my goals and also the spiritual part. And it makes you think about family. How is it with your family? And so I feel as if absolutely it was the best decision I could have made for myself. And it's not just about now when people see me, they say, oh my God, you look great, you look amazing. It's not just about the aesthetics. I am talking also about all the other intrinsic changes that have come about as a part of that. The non-scale wins, which is more like now I have to sit my husband down and say, you need to change your life because look, this has really changed my life in this way. And I feel as if it's like I was saying, a written review couldn't do justice to exactly how much this has meant to me.